want to thank all of you for coming out to help in this sort of reassuringly tepid midsummer night. Explore, unpack, discuss this amazing new novel, not first novel, but first published novel, by my great friend Roger Hyams. I'm Morgan Leah Hall, as many of you know. I'm a writer and psychotherapist. And in this conversation, I'm kind of going to be wearing both hats, my therapist hat and my writer's hat, sort of interweaving between the two, not only to discuss Roger's journey, his kind of literary journey as he found his voice with this book, but also, the very important and cogent mental health issues that are raised in this book. I'm assuming many of you, most of you in this room, have not read Roger's book yet. So I thought maybe I'd throw out a little teaser, a kind of like a hypothetical scenario to sort of situate you in the story. So first of all, I'd like you to imagine that you are a 14-year-old boy. It is 1974. You live in suburban northwest London. You have a sister, who's 15. You were raised by a very nice, loving Jewish family. Perfectly imperfect, not without their issues and their quirks, but basically a very, very loving family. You yourself feel a bit of a spare part, a bit awkward, definitely not one of the cool kids, not particularly doing very well in school, and the girl that you fancied, the only way you could approach her is through the lens of a camera at a distance. So you feel a little bit out of sorts with the world, kind of beset by hormonal hell. Your sister, not without her sensitivities, is kind of the rising star of the family. She's already an accomplished young cellist. She's been accepted to play in the National Youth Orchestra. As a family, you take her off and see her off to go to Paris to play 3 prestigious concerts in Paris, which she pulls off with aplomb and does a radio interview as well. It's all very exciting and very celebratory. She comes back a few days later in a state of florid psychosis, completely unrecognizable. The rest of this book is in part a kind of psychological detective story to try to work out, how did this happen? Is there some undetected trauma? When did this happen? Is it our fault? Is it here to stay? As well as learning to live with someone who is so unrecognizably changed, and also, of course, how that changes you. The book oscillates between the 2 points of view, between Ellie's and Colin's. And from here, I will hand over to Roger for the first reading.
Thank you, Albin. Wow. You make it sound quite interesting, actually. Well, Albin pointed out that there are this brother and sister, and a very early thing that happens to them is that they both fall for the same girl. They're on holiday with their parents in the Lake District, and there is this charismatic girl of Ellie's age, Ellie is the sister, who plays the violin. Anna leaned forward. So, Simon Rattle. I went to see him at the stage door in Bournemouth, and I got his autograph. Didn't. He was really tall. He just towered above me. Did he shake your hand? No, but imagine if. Mr. Crowder has huge hands, hairy, like a werewolf's. She didn't know why she'd mentioned him. They have strong hands from the baton. When he conducts, Simon Rattle, it's so amazing. You can see the sweat. Oh, that's a bit... Can you? Really? A new smile appeared at the side of Anna's face. I think it's stupid that all those pop stars get their pictures on telly and posters and all that, and not classical people. Her voice went quiet. Then you could look at them. Her eyes were wide. A patchy blush spread over her neck. Ellie widened her own eyes in communion. Anna looked bolder. You could touch them. Ellie thought not, but she didn't want to spoil it. Anna leaned closer and whispered, I'd like to kiss him. Simon Rattle. What are you up to? Ellie startled. Anna was looking up at Colin, who was standing with his weight on one leg. Ellie relaxed. This is Colin, my big little brother. Shut up, said Colin, and stuffed his hands into his back pockets. Anna looked up at him, squinting. Hi. Hi, Colin said. Anna turned to Ellie with a smirk. She smirked in return, warming their secret. What? Said Colin. Anna let loose a giggle, stopped it with her hand, then leapt up. She went running across the car park, boots crunching the gravel. Then Ellie was following, swallowing pints of air. Anna stopped, laughing hard. Ellie laughed back. Colin would think they were laughing about him, but she couldn't go back now. Anna said, "I haven't got a boyfriend." Ellie stopped. Anna's eyes narrowed. "Have you?" "What? A boyfriend?" She said it as steadily as she could, but it was too delicious. She could feel the gravel through her shoes. "No, I mean, not yet." Anna seemed to relax. "Well, there's plenty of time for that," she said, smoothing her skirt. The subject was over too soon. But letting out a tiny squeal, she grasped Ellie's arm. Her fingers were strong. Bold, Ellie reached out for Anna's arm. The skin was soft. Ellie could feel the muscle beneath. They stood there, hanging on to each other. A bird flew in under the hotel roof. Somewhere behind her, Colin was murmuring the guitar riff to Jeepster. Anna frowned and let go. What is he doing? Singing. He's very musical, actually. She walked back towards him and Anna followed. He was at the stream, building a dam. He stopped humming and called out, "Come and smell the water." It sounded like a command. Anna pursed her mouth. Little brothers couldn't boss them. Ellie went over and sniffed at the stream. "It smells of slate," said Colin. Ellie smiled. Colin's face was glowing in the low sun. So was Anna's. "The two of you," laughed Anna, tilting her head at Colin. "How old are you?" 13, he said, as if he could change it whenever he liked.